Hello, my wonderful friends. Welcome back to me and my tiny microphone. Welcome to Soulshine Wisdom, the podcast where psychology and self-development meets heart-centered spirituality. This is a space for creatives, seekers, and the spiritually inclined. I'm your host, Bliss. I have a background in psychology and mental health and a deep love for spirituality. Together we explore creative self-expression, personal growth, intuition, and all things spiritual so that we can let our radiant soul shine. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics ever, and that is daily routines. So morning routines, evening routines, or rituals, whatever your preferred verbiage is. Morning routines are something that I do every day to anchor myself into the present moment, to prepare myself mentally and emotionally for the day ahead, and really just to get my day started on a positive note. I'm going to reference my notes, so if you see me looking down at my notebook or anything, that's just what I'm doing, but I have lots of notes here just so that we can make sure that we stay on track. So what is a daily ritual? So a morning ritual is defined as an intentional and consistent series of actions performed upon waking to foster a positive mindset, focus, and physical well-being before engaging in the day's demands. An evening ritual is defined as a consistent set of actions performed before bed to transition from the day's activities to rest. So obviously, morning routines or rituals happen in the morning at the first part of the day when you first wake up, and evening routines happen in the evening or nighttime as you're winding down for bed, as the phrases really just are self-explanatory. There are plenty of benefits for routines or rituals, and a few of them are boosting productivity, reducing stress, increasing energy, fostering a positive or proactive mindset, improving clarity, lowering cortisol, which is the stress hormone, improving sleep quality and duration, more focus, more motivation, and improved outlook on life. One thing I'll say about my morning routines, I have had a morning routine since about 2020, and it has evolved a little bit over time. I've changed up what I include in my morning routine as my needs differ or as my preferences vary, but one thing stays consistent, and that is that it always makes my day that much better. It's something that I look forward to every day. I go to bed looking forward to my morning routine, and it really sets me up for success. I really feel like it's gotten me to the point where I respond to a lot of stressors with a level head and with a greater sense of calm and patience than I had before, rather than just having a knee-jerk reaction. And cultivating that patience and mindfulness and positivity and optimism has really been a game changer on so many levels of my life. It is something that I recommend to anyone. I feel like anyone can benefit from a morning routine. And I will say, creating your morning routine or your evening routine is entirely up to you and your preferences. Obviously, there are lots of recommended activities that people do either on a daily basis or intermittently that you can add to your morning routine. I say you can try out a whole bunch of different stuff just while you kind of sort out what works for you and what doesn't, and stick with the stuff that works best for you, and just forget about the things that don't resonate. So I do have a short list of different activities that you can add to your morning routine or evening routine. Obviously, these are applicable generally to both, but I will say keep in mind, if you're trying to curate your evening routine, to stick to activities that help you wind down for bed rather than getting you amped up. So for example, if exercising or going for a walk gets you in a more awakened, energetic state, then that might be something that you don't want to do in the evening. That might be something that would be better for like a morning routine. But here are some examples, and a lot of them are things that I have included either in my morning routine in the past or currently do in my morning routine or my evening routine, and they're all very beneficial in their own unique ways. So meditation, this one is like a must-have for me. This is like the very first thing that I do in my morning routine, and if I'm short on time on my morning routine and I don't have time to do like my full-blown everything, this is like the one action that I will try and make sure to do, because it's almost a cliche by now how beneficial meditation is. It's something that a lot of people don't want to get behind because it sounds sounds boring or it sounds confusing, or they try it once and they don't feel any difference or anything, but it is definitely something that gets better with practice, both in your ability to sit still and focus and meditate and feel like, okay, I think I might be doing it right, but also in feeling the effects, the benefits of meditation. It's not necessarily something that you'll feel on day one, but over time, your mindset will be kind of trained to be more mindful, be more calm, and be more present through the act of repeated meditation. The second one I have on my list is breath work, and this is another favorite of mine. I do breath work pretty much every day for my morning routine, sometimes also for night. There's tons of different practitioners you can find on like YouTube or on the internet, and they have their own different breathwork practices or their breathwork modalities. You'd be surprised at how many ways there are of breathing. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of ways to do different breathing exercises. My favorite practitioner on YouTube is Breathe with Sandy. He has probably hundreds of videos and they're all amazing quality. He always has really good background music and he explains it really well, very great vibes entirely. So that is definitely a resource that I would recommend to anyone who's wanting to get started on their breathworking journey. Journaling is again one of my favorites. I like to do morning pages from the Artist's Way. That's where you write 3 pages and you do stream of consciousness, no stopping, no pausing, and just write out what you're thinking for 3 full pages. And it sounds a little bit easier than it is. It also kind of sounds daunting because it is a little daunting sometimes, but this really helps me to get my thoughts out of my head onto paper, straighten out my ideas and such for the day so that it's not all swimming around in my head, and it really clears my mind for like creative energy. And it's really just good to get your thoughts down on paper and like process at the beginning of the day, just to kind of set yourself up for having more bandwidth for the other activities and concerns that will come up throughout the day. EFT tapping, stands for Emotional Freedom Technique, and EFT tapping is another one of my go-tos for the morning practice. And I go to Brad Yates on YouTube. Also, Gala Darling has a lot of great EFT tapping videos. I would say Brad Yates has tons more. He's been at it for a long time and posting very consistently. But EFT tapping, it's when you tap on different points on your body. So for example, top of head, eyebrow, temple, under your eye, above your lips, on your chin, collarbone, and then your wrists. And these are acupressure points. And so you'll tap through the points on your body and go through, first of all, kind of processing a little bit of the unwanted belief or the unwanted habits or activities, and just kind of processing through those. And then after you process through those, you'll go through some like affirmations or work through getting rid of those beliefs, those limiting beliefs, and inserting those positive beliefs to replace them. And so it's really kind of like a subconscious mindset shift. So you're kind of reprogramming your subconscious mind. So that's another one of my favorites. Pretty simple. You can do it on your own, but there's also tons and tons of videos out there, and it's really easy to learn. Another activity you can do either in your morning routine or your evening routine is reading. This is something that I try to do every evening, not always without fail, but I do try and do my reading in the evening. I have a little bit more time in the evening than in the morning to just do some reading, and it really helps my mind settle down for bed. I will say also, for any evening routine that you have for yourself, I would recommend an hour to 2 hours or even more putting your phone on the charger in the other room and not looking at it, staying away from like screens, so not being on your computer or watching TV, because this also helps your mind really settle down and relax and get ready for bed. But reading is something that I realized that helps me wind down for bed so well, that if I even if I go to bed late, or if I'm on my phone a little bit too late in the day, if I'm reading before bed, I oftentimes oftentimes wake up a lot more refreshed than if I had just gone from scrolling on my phone late just straight to bed. And maybe that's just unique to me, but it does kind of speak to how well reading kind of calms and relaxes the mind and winds it down. Another thing that you can do for your morning or your evening routine is yoga or stretching. So you can either stretch kind of intuitively in ways that you feel like your body might need stretched. So for example, I hold tension in my neck and shoulders a bit, so I would probably want to stretch those in whatever way feels good. If you know yoga, like, good for you, great. I don't know yoga, so I'd have to follow a video. So you can either do the yoga that you can follow a video, but stretching or yoga, I feel like could be good for morning or evening, but I will say I probably would say it'd be a little bit better for evening because you'd be winding down for bed and stretching out your body. I feel like, I don't know the science behind it, but I feel like it would like release endorphins and it would relax your body a lot more and just put you on a good path to getting great sleep. In kind of the same vein as the yoga, another thing would be exercise. This is something that you would have to kind of debate whether or not it would be something that would be good for a nighttime routine. This might not get you as calm as it would amp you up depending on what type of exercise you're doing, but it would probably be a great thing to do in the morning. Any type of exercise that you feel is best. I've heard before that the best type of exercise is the exercise that you will do, and I agree with that. Speaking of the exercise that you will do, my exercise that I will do is going for a walk. I think this type of exercise, something that is low impact and not so high energy, would be great for either morning or evening. But this is the type of exercise that I would do, going for a walk. This is something that I try and do fairly regularly, but it's not something I do daily. It's not something that I include in my morning or my evening routine, but I feel like going for a walk would help you ground your energy and it would be good for morning or evening. Alright, sorry my microphone cut out and I had filmed this entire video and now I'm gonna have to go back to the part where it cut out because it stopped filming the audio and just start from there. So please bear with me. The next activity I have is coffee or tea ritual. So obviously the coffee ritual is going to be more geared towards the morning time, but the tea ritual can be done any time of day. You can also do this with cacao or any warm beverage. And this looks a lot like holding the beverage and feeling the warmth in your hands, maybe closing your eyes, smelling, enjoying the aroma of the beverage, and just taking nice mindful sips. So you're basically just tuning out of your head, so you're not overthinking anything, you're tuning into the present moment and just practicing mindfulness by sipping your favorite delicious beverage. The next one I have is generally for the morning, but it also can be for nighttime, and that is planning the day ahead. So this can look like, I generally write when I do my morning pages, I will write out what I want to do for the day. So I'll write out the next activities that I'm doing after I'm done with my morning pages, and sometimes I'll go into the things I'm going to do today or what I'm looking at for the day ahead, like goal wise or things that I would like to do. But you can also do this more of like to-do lists or check boxes. I generally plan out my week in advance around like Sunday or Saturday, maybe sometimes Monday, and so I have my to-do lists. So if you do something like that, this could be good to do at nighttime, just to kind of review the to-do list for the next day, review the things that you have on your agenda, just so you don't have things swirling around in your mind worrying about like what you have in the day ahead. It can also be a good thing at night to kind of clear your head and your mind for what you're wanting to do the next day, so you can get it all down on paper. You don't have to worry about it or trying to go to sleep with all these thoughts in your head about all these things that you have to do. So that's really convenient. And this one is more for nighttime, and this is reflecting on the day. This is something that I do in my evening pages, which is something I talked about in another video, either on Instagram or over here, I can't remember which, but I talked about when I do evening pages, I will reflect on the day. So I'll write all the good things that happened for the day. Sometimes I'll write some learning experiences that I might have. Like yesterday I spent a little bit too much money, so I did kind of write about how I was a little disappointed in myself, but nothing too bad. I don't really harp on the negative, but just kind of reflecting on the good parts of the day in itself. And then I will write out a little bit about what I have planned for the day ahead. And then I'll go into gratitude and affirmations. So writing freehand, just filling up as much as I can about like just being grateful, and positive affirmations for just to boost my morale and to get myself in a positive mind state at the end of the day. Alright, sorry for the jarring outfit change. My microphone cut off like halfway through the video. I'd fully recorded it. Hopefully this microphone doesn't cut out. But yeah, that's one thing we do our morning routines for, is just extra patience. I don't have unlimited patience, but I have tons of patience to just deal with technological issues and just any any unfortunate or inconvenient thing that occurs in my life. So otherwise I'd be pissed and upset and not coming back here smiling and re-recording. But let's see where we left off. The next one I have is great for the morning, and this is sun gazing or sunbathing. And obviously you aren't going to go out and look directly at the sun. This is not what I'm advising you to do. But if you go outside or even to a window where the sun is shining in and you close your eyes, look towards the sun and let the sun shine through your closed eyelids into the back of your eyes. This is great for serotonin release first thing in the morning, and then it also cues your brain up to release melatonin at night. So it's really good for regulating your serotonin and your sleep schedule, your circadian rhythm. And sunbathing is kind of similar, but just sitting out in the sun or just a patch of sun. Channel your inner dog or cat and just find a patch of sun on the floor or on your bed and just kind of bathe on there, as well as just going outside to sunbathe. Vitamin D is wonderful. We all need more vitamin D, I think. Next activity I have is to step into nature or do earthing, and earthing is walking out barefoot in the grass, and this is a really good grounding exercise. It's really calming and centering, and anytime you spend in nature is great for your mental health. It's great for your emotional health. It really regulates your mood, and every time you go out into nature, pretty much you're going to leave feeling a little bit more cheerful and better. So this would be great for morning, obviously, because at night it's a little dark and you don't really want to be out in nature in the middle of the night necessarily, unless you want to just hang out in your backyard. Next one I have is a cold plunge or a cold shower. This is something that I used to do fairly regularly. I wouldn't do like a cold shower the whole way. I would do like a cold rinse at the end, and this is really good. It's really energizing and rejuvenating. I would recommend this as a morning activity, and I know it has tons of benefits that I'm not aware of at the top of my head, but I remember hearing that it helps that all your blood that is at the surface level of your skin go into your organs, so you're oxygenating your organs, and it just leaves you feeling really refreshed and energized and really pumped up and ready to take on the day. So another reason why you would want to do your morning or evening routine is that pretty much every successful person who has created a lot of great success for themselves swears by having a morning routine every day, and this is because it really primes your brain and sets you up for success for the day. So committing to a morning routine, setting aside time for yourself in the morning, really gets you centered and prepared to take on all of life's challenges. And I feel like my morning routine has allowed me to become more productive, more patient, more motivated, etc. So successful people swear by it, and they all do their own version of a morning routine because they know that it works. And you can play around a little bit with the different activities. Obviously try out the ones that you're interested in, see how each one works, see how each one leaves you feeling with your energy afterwards, and decide which ones are best for your morning, which ones are best for your evening. Just play around with it a little bit, curate it. It's your special, unique routine, so do what works best for you, and you can't go wrong. And the last point I'm going to leave you with is just having fun with the process. Having fun with the process of trying different activities to see how they work out for you. Have fun with the process of curating your own routine, getting in the groove of doing your own thing in the morning and the evening, and just enjoying the process of each activity. And if for some reason an activity that you put on to your morning or evening routine is not something that you're enjoying, it feels like a drag, it feels like a bummer, then don't sweat it. It just means that it's not for you. Keep trying other activities. I'm sure there are tons more that I haven't mentioned here, and you can just look up, maybe you would want to look up your idol or your role model, your successful individual, and see if they have somewhere online or on a book or something what they do for their morning routine, and maybe take inspiration from them. But don't think that it's a cookie cutter process, that it's a cookie cutter routine, that everything works blanket well for everyone. It is, you are a unique person and you do have unique preferences and needs and likes and dislikes. So your morning and evening routine are gonna look different than someone else's. Just have fun with it. Just roll with it. Just try things out. See how they stick. See how it goes. And I just encourage you to maybe give yourself a little bit more time in the morning, go to bed a little bit early, wake up a little bit earlier, and just gift yourself the gift of time to yourself in the morning to really get yourself started for the day. And I promise you, over time, it's going to be great for your mental health. It's going to be great for your optimism, your patience, your productivity, your motivation, etc. It's really life-changing. For anyone who has never had a morning routine before, you're in for a treat. So I'm so glad that I could share this episode with you. I really do think that my morning routine, especially my evening routine, I'm still kind of curating a little bit and working out a little bit of the kinks, but my morning routine has been a life changer for me. I've gone from being pessimistic, being kind of reactive, being a little bit irritable. I've gone from being stressed and just not always in a great headspace or mood or whatever, and then doing my morning routine on a regular basis, on a daily basis for 5-6 years now, I have really gotten to the point where it has changed so many aspects of my life and my personality. And it sounds kind of wild, but it's true, and I really owe a lot of it to that time that I spend for myself in the morning, doing my meditation, doing my journaling, getting myself prepared for the day, instead of rolling out of bed and just running out the door. On days when I'm running late or I sleep in, I'm always missing the opportunity, like missing it as in like, oh, I miss that. I really wish I could have, done my morning routine. So it is something that I totally look forward to every day, and I hope that it becomes something that you look forward to too, because it's really life-changing and beautiful. So thank you so much for tuning in with me today. I hope you really enjoyed today's episode. Make sure to give it a like, comment, subscribe if you're into spirituality, intuition, personal development, self-expression, etc. I'm here for you, hopefully on a weekly basis. I'm trying to get these out weekly. And I also, here on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, try and post craft videos fairly regularly. So if that's something you're into, if you want a little bit of craft inspiration, make sure you subscribe as well. It was so great chatting with you. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.